Hey everyone, today I thought we'd look at the dark side of Dead by Daylight, and look at some rather disturbing parts of the game and its lore. Maybe we could do a wholesome facts and details video after this, for a bit of balance. Starting out, the killers probably eat the survivors. This is more explicit with killers like the Cannibal and the Hag or Demogorgon during their moris. What suggests that all of the killers do eat the survivors though is the offering Survivor Pudding, stated to be heavily salted and clearly include human fingers, eyes, and ears. A month after this offering was added to the game, the Cannibal arrived in the realm, possibly suggesting him to be the killer's cook. He is known for his chili after all. It's even suggested for the Hag that she requires human blood in order to stop her from petrifying, which is probably why she dribbles it into her mouth after each hit. One of Ghostface's knives is made of human bone. The most well-known weapon in-game made of a human is probably AZHYMOVS' axe, which doesn't feel bad because he kind of deserved it. Ghostface's knife is sinister though. The knife named Bone Handle Clip Point is stated to have a grip made of the femoral bone of an unsolved murder victim. To pair with this, one of Oni's blades features the sliced off face of a merchant, killed for selling false samurai his wares. Speaking of Kazan is known for doing some very disturbing things, like scalping the heads of false samurai and taking their top knots, or carving skin off of bodies to remove undeserved tattoos. But one thing he does that is more inferred is the killing of his son's friend. In the add-on Akito's Crutch, we discover that Akito, his son, fell from a tree and injured his leg. As a result, his playmate was blamed and punished. Based on Kazan's murderous nature, I think it means he killed the boy and his whole family. Maybe I'm reading a bit too much into that one. The entity is always watching. We see the entity appear briefly in its typical claw form when we reach a certain stage on the hook, but it's also inferred with the entity's association to crows that the crows act as eyepieces for the entity, allowing it to watch the trials from many angles, and even help the killers locate the survivors. The red light beaming from the front of the killers is also quite possibly the entity's presence, maybe altering their vision, changing the survivors into people they hate, potentially even forcing them to act more aggressively. There's something extremely creepy about it literally being inside the killers. A similar red light can be seen in the basement. The basement being considered as the heart of the entity within the trial, where we can see its yellowy-orange surface bursting through the seams, with light pouring out. It opens the idea of how much of the realm is the entity. Maybe everything we touch and interact with is actually the entity, which is really disgusting. Susie isn't as innocent as she appears. Despite Susie's perceived innocence as part of the Legion, shown through things like her more nervous body language, she may actually be one of the scarier members of the group. We learn of Susie stabbing a guy, potentially killing him for his jacket, in her New Year's cosmetic. This is the most violent thing any of the members do prior to murdering the Stalklight together. In her notebook charm, we further see her sketching out the Legion logo, showing her enthusiasm. On her Fairview school ID, we see her face scratched out, a sign potentially that she feels more comfortable masked. Needless to say, there's something more going on there. The entity stalks the characters for years. One thing that's really creepy about the lore, and recurs repeatedly, is the characters getting stalked by a dark presence. Sometimes it's a whisper, other times a full-on shadow or monster, but almost every character has some mention of it in their story, some decades before they are finally taken by the entity, showing just how long the entity stalks and awaits the right moment. I just thought that was pretty disturbing. The ivory mori is likely carved from a human tooth. The ivory memento mori is said to be made of ivory. The only other animals we know of that appear in the realm are birds, meaning the ivory mori is more than likely carved from the survivor's teeth. The entity is capable of retaining life trapped within smaller parts of a larger whole. Okay, let me explain this one. Bubba's add-on Iridescent Flesh is the skinned face of Pam Jones. What's really creepy about this though is that it's stated to have shimmering veins that pulse with life, suggesting Pam may live on in this trapped state, and even be sentient to some degree. In a similar way, the area of Crow's offering, Crow's Eye, is said to be a dark, beady eye that shifts back and forth as if searching for a bloody strip of carrion. These two parts, which otherwise would not be alive, appear sentient, desiring, and functional, despite their greatly hindered state. We can see this also in the Hag's add-on Grandma's Heart, said to contain the trapped life essence of the cannibal village elder. This is really a disturbing existence. These living things trapped in parts of what they once were. Doctor's Discipline add-ons are unsettling. In all of the Doctor's Discipline add-ons, we can read statements made by Larry's Memorial Institute, presumably to the public, disturbing purely because of what we know was really happening. The facade put on and the truth behind it all just makes the whole situation that much more disturbing. The horrors that went on, and the outside world was none the wiser. I don't know, I personally find that pretty creepy. The cannibal village that took Lisa ate children. This can be seen in the add-on Waterlog Shoe, said to be a child shoe. This too is stated to have some life essence within. The shoe's presence in the bog water of the swamp greatly suggests that the cannibal village that took Lisa would kill and eat the children of Lisa's village. The cannibal village had a book full of human recipes. This can be seen in the Offering Grandma's Cookbook, the cookbook of the cannibal village elder. This book is thick and said to be filled with horrible human meat recipes, one of them being chili. The cover of the book also features a human cut into smaller pieces, seemingly a cut chart, the type you might see at a butcher's, except here for humans. The entity has been taking people for thousands of years. In the Greek trial charm, we see 4 survivors fighting a creature, likely the Minotaur. With the Minotaur in-game, it actually makes it pretty possible that this carving or painting may be depicting an actual trial, a more ancient, primitive version of the current trials, inscribed in rock, where someone like Benedict, say, now inscribes his trial experiences on paper and in word. It suggests that the entity's influence has spanned thousands of years, and despite the mostly modern survivors currently in the realm, it potentially did once take ancient Greek survivors too, which would be really cool to see in game, by the way. The Hillbilly did some really messed up stuff at Coldwind. Billy is a character that is often sympathized with, but he does some truly horrible stuff at Coldwind after killing his parents. Some of the better known things being when he fed the police sheriff alive to his parents' prized pigs, or his decorating of trees with the corpses of cows. He's also known to be a fan of decapitation. Based on the Coldwind Harvester charm, it further suggests that he probably grinded both animals and humans with the harvesters found across the maps. I thought that was pretty messed up. There is evidence of previous survivors before the current ones, yet none remain. This is a fact I've always thought was quite eerie. The way we can read in game of all these different people like Alex, Vigo, Benedict, or the Lost Tape survivors, yet none of them appear in the realm. It's a haunting feeling in an already empty and dark realm. There are others who came before, their fate unknown, only leaving behind items and keepsakes, or hastily drawn instructions and maps. The reality is further disturbing, with all previous survivors being thrown to the void, a place where their hollow shells are left, drained of emotion, and left to rot for an eternity in a dark pit. I mean, if that's not daunting. And to kind of link into this, the current survivors are slowly losing their minds. We can read a revealing entry in Arcus 893, where the observer witnesses a group of survivors going crazy during a trial. Several survivors went mad trying to escape the trial. They had with them memories of previous incarnations, so that one survivor began dashing his head against a wall, convinced he was reliving a nightmare he had just escaped. The other survivors drowned him in mud to shut him up. It seems to me survivors are torches, growing dimmer and dimmer with every trial. Some stop to feel altogether, and are doomed to the void. Others go raving mad, and need to be silenced by others. I mean, that is messed up. There's some true horror in this game if you look in the right places. The Blight Serum is capable of resurrecting the dead. In Blight's add-on, Blighted Rat, it describes a rat coming back to life briefly, but becoming aggressive and uncontrollable. It potentially suggests that the Blight himself is dead, or undead. He did, after all, crawl from the void itself, so it's not exactly impossible. His constant need to inject himself in order to keep him going would make sense too, almost replenishing his life each time. It would explain his urgency. When attempting to find a cure for the plague, Adiris covered herself in worms, dead flies, and clay to try and rid it. You can see the worms still squirming around on her skin, likely eating away at the plague in this one cosmetic. This one is just visually disturbing, to be honest, and harrowing when you think about this unstoppable plague. She also tried to mask her smell with a variety of things, some being animal excrement, human bone, mushed bee eggs and larvae, and also goat liver. It appears the entity grants the killers twisted rewards for serving it well. In a Doctor cosmetic, we can learn of the entity providing him with 100 people, all trapped on a submarine to be experimented on. Not much to say here, that's just pretty messed up. It begs the question of what the other killers would request. If the entity truly can provide nearly anything, it's worse the more you think. The characters know one another as fictional. This one is more just creepy, I guess, but basically in-game with the new Resident Evil skins, it's all but confirmed that the characters know one another as fictional. This Jill cosplay that Feng wears suggests that Feng has played Resident Evil and played as Jill in a game, yet now she sits beside her in the realm as a real person, showing not only the creepy extent of the multiverse, but posing a harrowing question of what is real and what isn't, what is fiction. This final one is more of a larger lore thing, but the idea that nothing is strong enough to oppose the power of the entity is pretty scary. Despite this multiverse, the realm is still going on, and nothing so far has managed to stop it, despite all the tales we've heard. And some of the people in the realm even trying to stop it. No one has managed to. And seeing as the entity's influence has spanned thousands of years across a multiverse of different worlds, that's kinda terrifying. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. I do hope you enjoyed. Drop any creepy lore things you found down in the comments below that I might have missed here. Thanks, and goodbye.